Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Niacin. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. See, I am trying as much as I can to be very calculated to deliver this video because one thing I do not appreciate is somebody turning around to look for a way to make Black people look like they are the bad people. Why? I am saying this because you cannot tell Black people that you know that they are resting, but you think that they should come out and do something because what is going on in Palestine and other places, that if they end up not doing it, that they will do the same thing to Black people. Like have they not been doing it? Have they not been doing it to Black people? Or you want to talk out of weakness? Now let me say this. I think it's unfair that people put so much load on Black people and not understanding that these people have been carrying so much load all their lives, right? You wake up every day and you heap something on them, and they've been absorbing it. There is a limit to people can absorb. Nobody should come out and tell Black men and Black women to come out and look for a way to save other people, because the same people that you are trying to save had the opportunity for their families, for their brothers that are in America to save their condition. But they said no, that Donald Trump promised them peace and they are going to they voted for Donald Trump. Now it is costing them their inner peace and they are looking for a help. How do you want Black people to come and help at this point in time? Because the opportunity, I remember bringing a video here where they asked them if you had opportunity to vote for it. They said no, they would also rather vote for third party. So what are you trying to tell me? To tell Black people to come out and save who? No, enough of all this. Let's get into this.
This is for Black folk. I know that we're tired. I know that people are resting. I know people are saying I'm moisturizing and minding my business. But I want to say again, it is our business, because they are going to perfect this disappearing people to concentration camps or deportation centers or prisons or whatever they want to call them now on people that we perceive to be immigrants and people who are Palestinian, people who are sympathetic to Palestinian causes. But they're going to then turn around and do that to us. The idea is to criminalize a whole group of people so that you can kill a whole group of people while the other group of people say that has nothing to do with me. And then you can turn it on those other group of people to create in the United States a multitude of things: slave labor, to get rid of people. It's the prison industrial complex. It's what they've been doing to us, but they've had limits to it because they haven't been able to do it to people who are white identified. They're soon going to make a distinction between white Americans and white Hamas supporters. They are already disappearing people that you would think were Black from a picture because they were supposed to be Venezuelan gang members, and they're disappearing them to places that have no law. That is going to be deadly to us as Black folk. My suggestion, I'm not saying get out in the streets on April 5th, because they want us to get out in the streets so that they can then criminalize those protests even further if they're Black and brown people. But we can continue to not buy anything at these corporations. We can continue to change our lifestyle to be more community centered. On April 5th, we can double down and buy nothing again. We can spend another day on April 5th buying nothing. Because I know how much it's irritating to watch people who voted for this skunk in office and now regret their vote. But it's useful to us because ultimately we are directly connected and intrinsically connected to the group of people that we live next to. And if their electricity goes off, our electricity goes off. So in an effort to save ourselves is to do things that support our well-being in the long run. This disaster and catastrophe of an administration is aimed directly at us. We can take action, just not the usual actions before. April 5th, don't buy nothing.
America's downfall won't be caused by foreign enemies, economic collapse, or lack of innovation. It will be destroyed by the very things it was built on: racism, greed, power, and the exploitation of the marginalized. So let's start with racism. America's had a centuries-long addiction to white supremacy, from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration to modern-day suppression. The system wasn't just built on racism, it still depends on it. And you can't build trust and unity and long-term prosperity when the foundation is hatred and division. Now let's talk about the power, because America doesn't just chase power, it hoards it. At the very top, power is concentrated in the hands of a few. bought and sold through billion-dollar lobbying firms and dark money, and the people at the bottom, well, they're distracted and divided and disposable. But power with no accountability always turns inward. It eventually devours its own. Then there's greed. Oh, America's true religion. Every institution, healthcare, housing, education, even justice is for sale. The rich don't pay taxes, corporations exploit workers, billionaires fly to space while families can't afford insulin. And no emperor has ever survived when it values profit more than people. And finally, exploitation. This country built its wealth off the backs of stolen people on stolen land. And to this day, it thrives off keeping Black, brown, indigenous, immigrant, and poor communities in struggle. It's modern day plantation capitalism, wrapped in flags and hashtags. But here's the warning. You can only ignore the cries of the oppressed for so long before the system breaks. While America continues to argue about whether racism is real, the rest of the world is moving forward, investing in education, universal healthcare, green energy, and collective progress. They're building bridges, America's burning them. And yes, if this country doesn't confront its demons, it will collapse from the inside out. Not because of the lack of greatness, but because of its refusal to share that greatness with everyone. The future won't be stolen by guns or war. It will be lost in boardrooms, courtrooms, and classrooms where equity is denied and truth is buried. And when America falls, it won't be a tragedy. It'll be a consequence.
I saw one of my mutuals complaining about how, like, in public spaces, when you go outside, to, like, parks and stuff, like, there's not enough places to sit down, like, especially an outside place. And obviously it's because corporations don't want homeless people to sit or lay down or take a nap. At the end, she said something like, oh, well, like, even if you have a house, you can't sit. Like, I'm not even homeless, and now people who have houses can't sit either. Like, it affects all of us. And like a prophecy, because this is how my brain works, that is how America deals with every single issue. Every time they try to single out a minority group, get rid of them, squish them down, whatever, it is going to affect everyone. There's no way to single out because we are so interwoven with each other. Because America was presented as, ooh, we can make it a soup. So many people are going to be, it's the land of opportunity because of colonialism. And we are all so interwoven into every single one of our communities. White people, Black people, Hispanic, like we're everywhere, okay? We're smushed together. We're so close to each other. White people hated Black people so bad that they did not care about fucking up their grandchildren's lives in order to get rid of them, in order to smush them down and keep them from getting the same opportunities as white folk. In that process, they created credit scores, and now bad credit scores affect white people exactly the same. Student loans are fucking up everyone. Like, to make sure that Black people didn't get the same stuff, they were like, we'll fuck up our grandchildren too. We don't care. White people, y'all's grandparents hated Black people so much that they were willing to fuck up y'all's lives as well, and they did. And obviously with this new presidency that's on its way, I think in real time, this new generation, we're not our grandparents, y'all are going to see just how much racist white people are willing to go to fuck it up for everyone. In the wise words of Troy Bolton and cast, we are all in this together, unfortunately. And
white people said they built America. Remember when they said that? Everyone's asking how come they're not dismantling the system. What would they replace it with? See, if you believe that they built America, then you believe they would be able to successfully rebuild America whenever the fuck they want. They can easily rebuild a different government structure or just make a better one than the one that exists now. So this is their time to show their intellectual prowess, to prove that they actually can build a nation. And that this was entirely their idea, the Constitution, all of the amendments, everything was just their idea. It was just their brainiac master plan, extraterrestrial level of intelligence that built an amazing country, which the only time America was economically amazing was either during slavery or I would say after World War II. Both times they required for other people to suffer before America could enjoy economic success. That's a flawed system through and through. They do not know how to actually build a functioning government that cannot be corrupted. Don't mind my ashy knuckles. They do not know how to build an actual nation. And they will not tell you the truth about how they either stole ideas from other nations that they then implemented in America without giving credit to those other nations, especially since they want you to continue thinking, white supremacy, all this stuff. So they can't give credit to other nations that you will clearly see aren't white. They don't have their own good ideas, and the only good ideas that have been coming forth so far on how to actually make America great have either been from Native American politicians, Black American politicians, or just immigrant politicians, people who are not born in America, who aren't white. So in order for them to truly rebuild or to genuinely destroy it and start from scratch again, they would need the intelligence. They would need to actually know how to build a nation. And since they didn't build the first one, they just killed everybody and stole their fucking ideas, and then their generations lived off of it. Since they didn't build it in the first fucking place, they don't know how to build it. That's why they're scared to burn it down and start over. They don't know how to build a nation, especially a better nation.
Good morning. The white women are waking up. I was just scrolling. I know you shouldn't scroll as soon as you open your eyes. Doesn't matter. I'm grown. I was scrolling and I came across this video of this white woman talking about how she has now been personally victimized by Regina George, aka Trump. And she was talking about how her income-driven repayment plan has now been shut off because everyone has been put on the standardized plan, and he took away any type of affordability plans that there were around those. And she went from being able to afford it every month to $900 that she cannot afford monthly, right? Cool. My issue is the people in the comment section, because there were more than a few comments that were talking about how going to college was the biggest regret of their life or the worst decision they made, because there were variation in this statement, but it's the same statement nonetheless. To that I say, what a whiny baby, ungrateful, privileged, lack of accountability on the highest degree statement to make. Because what do you mean going to college was the worst decision of your life? I have never heard that from anybody that I went to college with. And you know what? The demographic, I went to HBCU, so the demographic is different. But nonetheless, I have some follow-up questions. Number one, did you finish? Did you finish? Because for whatever reason, people go to college, they don't finish, and then they regret it because they don't have anything to show for the debt that they've acquired. And I understand that, but also actions have consequences. So sorry. And it could be an array of decisions that made you drop out, or you just couldn't cut it. Either way, actions have consequences. If it was something without your control that made you drop out, go back. Go back. Whatever. Like, I know it's not that simple, but also, like, it is that simple. Secondary, if you finish and you still feel that way, what did you major in? Because if you knew you had champagne taste going into college, why did you major in art? No Tino shade to people who did major in art, but, like, you know that is not something that, on average, per capita, makes a ton of money. Why did you major in anything that was not going to yield you an average of comfortable middle-class living? Then so that you could complain about it. Like, or why did you not go back and get a master's degree? It's a year in a lot of cases. Like, go back and do something. Either way, I know this sounds like very simplistic, and I know it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But at the same time, my point is, it is just a piece of paper. I'm sorry to, like, break that to some of you. It is just a piece of paper. But guess what? That piece of paper has opened more doors than I can even count. It has opened windows, doors, vents. It has got me into rooms that I should not have been in because I had that piece of paper. But you know what else got me into those rooms? My fucking work ethic. I worked my ass off. I made sure that I had a job coming out of college in my field. You know why? Because I had an internship every summer. Every summer. Before I graduated, I was applying for jobs that I did not have the credentials for yet. I put in the work. Every summer, I was still in school doing a summer semester, getting a minor, and having internships in the area. I made sure I had credentials, okay? So if you left school without the work ethic, yeah, of course you're going to regret it, because you are now in debt and can't afford the debt that you acquired because you didn't go in or put in the work into something that was going to help you pay it off. So all the comments talking about how it wasn't the investment you were sold, investments take work. They take foresight. They take planning. Even when you invest your real money. Investors and stockholders in companies are on your ass asking for data, asking for the plan, asking for the direction. They are planning it out to make sure they get a return on their investment. You didn't. That is very simple. I did not leave college. I left with a job, but I was making $55,000 a year in a lab. In 3 years, I was making 6 figures. Why? Because I worked my ass off. I worked my ass off. So I have no sympathy for you. I am not a bootstrap type of girl, but God damn it, do some fucking work.
My name is Mario, and I'm tired of the bullshit. According to the political right, empathy is a weakness. In fact, empathy is one of the biggest weaknesses of our society. Empathy is a lie, and empathy is even demonic. Again, this is according to their political ideology. This is what they're teaching each other at far-right Christian services and churches and on talk radio. The textbook definition of empathy is a person's ability to understand another person both cognitively and emotionally. As an atheist or a secular humanist, I've always argued that empathy is where we find our morality. And as a philosopher, I will argue that empathy is the basis of natural law when it comes to what is ethical or what is moral. Even in the Christian Bible, Jesus says to do unto others as you want others to do unto you. In the Lord's Prayer, it says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. True morality is not necessarily based on divine command theory, nor is it based on religious ethics. It is based on each and every one of us seeing each and every else one of us as human fucking beings and not means to an end, but the end itself. A society without empathy is a society primed to accept all sorts of atrocities. But the right rejects empathy. Why? One of the hallmark features of conservatism is the acceptance and the promotion of hierarchical structures. There is the acceptable, and there is the default, and then there is everything else, the other, which we put into lower tiers on the hierarchical scale. And if you understood the immigrant, if you understood the black, if you understood the gay, if you understood the trans, if you understood the Jew, if you understood the Arab, if you understood the Muslim, if you understood the atheist, if you understood anybody who is considered other in these hierarchical systems, then maybe you will think about breaking those hierarchical systems. Maybe you will adopt a more egalitarian worldview. Maybe instead of lauding and touting the unique greatness of European or Anglo culture as if it's the pinnacle of moral and civilized cultural expression, we will understand that all culture is valid and all culture has its pros and its cons. And all culture should be examined in a way that doesn't necessarily promote ethnic and racial bias, but in a way in which we can learn what is good and what is bad of each culture so that we can improve our own cultures. My point is this. The anti-empathy crusade that the right is currently on is a very, very deceptive and, need I say, demonic form of gaslighting. I am a leftist, so I am totally against unnecessary, keyword there, unnecessary hierarchical structure. Hierarchies may be good and necessary in certain aspects like the military, but hierarchies amongst religions and races and ethnicities and classes, they only lead to division, discrimination, systems of apartheid, ethnic cleansings, and genocides. And let me make something totally clear to the conservatives out there. As leftists and progressives and even liberals, our collective empathy, even our personal empathy, only goes so far. I have an intolerance for intolerance. In other words, I have no time and no sympathy for those who think that bullying marginalized people is a good thing. I have no love for those who actively and knowingly punch down all of the time. Don't expect me to cry over burning Teslas while the trans community is being actively discriminated against. Anyway, this video's already gone on too long. You guys know what to do. Y'all be peace.
This is all I got from this video. And sincerely speaking, you already know that America was built on racism, and there is nothing anybody can do to, like, stop the truth, right? And that is also one of the reasons why they are looking for every way they are looking for every way possible, any way possible to cover up. Like, what are you covering up? I keep asking myself, what are they trying to cover up? What are you trying to hide? The things that you did to people, that is all over, that people knew, that is part of people's history. What are you trying to cover up? Why not look for a way to make the wrongs right? Why not look for a way to make amendments? No, they are not looking for a way to make amendments. The only thing they are looking for a way to do is to erase anything. Erasure. How is that even possible? Because one thing they have forgotten is that they probably do not understand that American or Black history is a worldwide history. It is not possible to erase it. And when we talk about empathy, I think these people are just the people that only want people to, like, feel bad for them. I mean, like, it's just all about us, right? If it's not all about us, forget about it. Because tell me how somebody that came out and said that, like, sometimes it is not about empathy, it's not about sympathy, it's not about, but now they are looking for somebody to sympathize or empathize with them. How is that possible? What you dish out with is what you receive. To them, people's lives are not important. The only thing important is their business, because they are doing it in every way possible to make sure that it is all in their favor. And protecting stock and Tesla, right? Tesla, like your president called it. But Black people do not matter. I'm not going to talk about brown people because they did a whole mess on themselves. The people that also, now this is to tell you how, these people thought their life would be better. It's just going to be all about them during this administration, so that they will not have to suffer anything. They will not have to, like, bother about anything anymore. But reverse is the case. Now they are really bothering so much. Because for the woman to come out to tell you that her rent or her this thing was, let's say, $1, now it is $20. How is she supposed to afford it? Who did you vote for? Who did you vote for when they told you, when people that already read the Project 2025 came out to tell you plain that the movements you guys are trying to take might cost a whole lot? Who did you vote for? Because that is a very vital question to ask everybody when they come out to start screaming. Majority of them are not mad that our life is getting hard. Things are going crazy. They are only mad. Why? Because it is hitting them real bad. That is why they are running up and down. Had it been that it started with people that look like me, which my people already knew from the onset, and they became ready, trust me, you won't see even the brown people, you won't see them out here looking for a way whom to save. You will still be the one to save yourself, but they will still come and call you to save them. You see, the reality is that people that look like me, or I mean, just like, I don't want you. I don't want it to go. I don't want you. I don't want it to go. I am not going to pay you your reparations. I mean, this is the game they are playing, because if they already pay black people their reparations, so they know where they stand. You are not paying reparations. You are not doing anything. You want where? They cannot live. No matter how hard you fight, you cannot, you will just try, because they've been trying so hard. Every minute they are poking. And for the man asking for, can black people do something? What do you want black people to do at this point? Because some people really do not understand that black people are also going through it. What do you, at this point in time, what do you want black people to do? What can they do at this point in time? Because they are struggling with theirs. They have so many things lying down for black people, have a whole lot lying down for them that they have not even started touching. But they want them to get it. Everybody is quick to say, because the way they treat other people is also the way. Have they not been treating black people the same way? Do other people really do care about that? They've been treating, black people have been going through it how many years? How many years? So I think the thing is that everybody really do have to wake up on his or her own, because the same Palestinians and the Arabs had the opportunity to change what is going on in their home countries. They ignored it. Why? Because of selfishness, because of self-centeredness. They said, no, it's either we vote third party. Please don't angry me this morning or this afternoon. Because what that guy, I like him, I know him, he's up, but please don't angry me with that comment. Black people are not doing anything because they had opportunity to change what is going on in their home country. They ignored it. And I remember the video that I brought here last month or last 2 months, where they were asking them if you had opportunity to change, because Trump posted a video about Gaza, and he said they were all in shock that Trump promised them peace, but he's saying that he's going to take over Gaza and build resorts and all that. And then eventually they asked them, would you have if you had an opportunity to change this election, what would you do better? They said they will still vote for third party. So what are you telling me? People that are not even remorseful about what they did, how they vote. See, I know some people will be like, Kamala Harris is not sent. Nobody is a saint. But I know that some people will do better than every other person. You people have just 2 persons. Just time is out of it for those that do not know politics, because some people do not know. Just time is just 2 persons that you had for this election, and you all screwed it. And now you people are saying, can you put black people put their shoes? Which shoes can they put their legs or their feet in black people's shoes? Enough of asking for what you can get from black people. Not what can black people get from you too, as people they are trying to save. Bye for now.